Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you gotta get spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning, everybody. It is the 12th. Excuse me, I'm a little bit late today. I'm a lot bit late today. But it's Tuesday. I think we get some news here today. Oh, where's my little let's pull this up here. Okay. Oh, so JOLTS jobs openings today. Nothing too significant. New York Fed Treasury purchases 10 to 25 years. Okay, that's a big deal. And we got a 3-year note auction. That's a pretty big deal. So we are in auction week. Oh, and we got a 10-year today too. On a Tuesday? Okay. Oh, no, wait. Is it usually on Tuesday? I don't know. Treasury selling off, though. We're back to 131. That's interesting. Da-da-da. Oh, yeah. Yes. So you can see ES yesterday had a pretty okay move up. And remember when we were like, Jay, caught this whole thing. If I was him, I would take it off, but he's probably not going to. Yeah, he did. He held it all the way back and then got out of something. Yeah. So that was kind of interesting because there was, even though it ran really far, they never really started reading really strong imbalances in favor of buyers. So that's why he held on for so long. In the overnight, a little bit lower, but then some recovery. So that's interesting. Here in bonds yesterday, they had moved a little bit lower from the weekend, and then a recovery back to 131. I personally, I'm still kind of like, why aren't they at 132 or something? But whatever. This up here, I think we should be back up here. 131, 1.5. That's what I thought. But I say that, but I'm pretty sure I'm wrong too. I'm not sure what I'm missing on the fundamentals, but I'm probably wrong because the market seems to very, very strongly disagree with me on that one. Oil was had a little peak yesterday. Natural gas cooling off. That's good. Gold and silver still within their ranges. And copper, well, once again, I see this in a lot of these, but there'll be a big move up and it completely comes back. Wow. It seems like that's happening a lot lately. And then these over here. Ethereum took a little bit of a haircut, but Bitcoin's still just kind of chugging along. And the dollar looks a little bit stronger today. So that's kind of the context that we got in here. Now, me being lazy, not me being lazy, but just distracted this morning. Looks like I missed a pretty good sell there in the treasuries, which I find curious. I tell you what, so last time we had auctions, it was super, super crazy buying into the auction, right? Oh my gosh, the privacy is unlisted. Let's fix that. Public. Thank you for you two guys that bookmark the live stream page. Couldn't it update your video? Let me see. Did it change? By the way, good morning, Dave and TLA Trader. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, well, so here in the treasury, how much further could this go? Well, I think if we were Uzi, we would be looking for 157.11. Just quite a ways down there. So this downside gonna continue. Oh, look, there's Uzi right there. But I'm not Uzi. I'm Seth, and I'm looking at this, and I'm like, I don't know if they can really continue that downside action. What about on the upside? 158.11. Well, that 158.11 seems way more likely, right? Doesn't it? It's just closer. Good morning. It's been a hell of a month. Oh, dude, I'm starting to get swamped again. I'm getting harassed and all of this, and I'm thinking right now that I've been putting this off too long and that it's time to bring in lawyers. Sucks, but just the same guy. I mean, I haven't said anything about it on stream, really. I guess we talked about it a little bit yesterday because Vlad been watching. And I was like, what the hell is going on? And he says he's trying to troll both sides, but he's playing with fire. He shouldn't be he shouldn't be doing that. So this guy is insane. Good morning, Keller. Wow. Anyways, I don't want to talk about it on stream. I probably shouldn't talk about it on stream, right? So let's see what's going on Twitter, shall we? Yes, I am. Yep, that's exactly who I'm talking about, Uzi. Captain Price. Yeah, it's dangerous. It just, you gotta understand. I don't think he would take kindly to finding out that you're just trying to troll him. Where is a good place to learn the footprint? Well, man, it's a good question because I never actually took any kind of course or did any kind of reading whatsoever about how to read the footprint. I just used everything else that I knew about ordered flow. Like to me, the footprint is just higher time frame depth of market, right? So, that's, I don't know if I can give you like one consolidated resource. I mean, I'm not well versed in the lore as I really only watch your stream, but I do remember you saying he's been big. Oh yeah. He's been making more videos. The first video he didn't really mention me. The second one, he's got a video up with a picture of Peter Davies, turning him into a clown as his video thumbnail. You debate Sasquatch on Reddit. Dave. Yeah, Uzi's like, what? Eyes big. Okay, so here in the interest rate. I'm kind of sitting here watching the treasuries, kind of waiting for maybe some sign of auction activity, but doesn't look like we've gotten anything so far. That's narcissistic character stuff he provokes. Yeah. I think the mistake that I made was not dealing with this sooner. So I have a little bit to try and deal with this. Your donations would be greatly appreciated and will all go towards trying to bring this man to justice. Man. So he made 2 videos. I haven't seen the one yesterday. The first one he only barely mentioned me. So like one of the things that I'm finding really frustrating right now is that there are other people, because I never bought his software, and he hasn't been saying nearly as much. I mean, like when you really look at it, when you watch his videos, it's basically like he does a lot of like prodding and name calling me, but he never actually makes any direct accusations. So I don't have a whole lot of room. I mean, he did in one video call me a scammer, and I do think that I could potentially go after him for that, but that's a little bit more in the gray area. You know what I mean? What did he do? Let me read this. I will show you. Gosh, I don't know, man. I'll do it this way, Uzi. Where are you on? There you are. Okay. Was it this one? Yes, this one. Hold on a second. Where'd he go? There you are. Okay, look at that picture that I just sent you in Discord. Defamation. Well, but I mean, it's very clearly like what do you call it, cyberbullying or whatever. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Is he's just harassing me. Like he's not. He's just trying to be like really annoying and harassing. But it is, in fact, defamation with the intent to cause harm. The person that's harassing me is called Vinny E. Mini. Yeah, right? I mean, when you read that kind of sounds like a veiled death threat, doesn't it? So this guy is truly insane. There was like the whole Futures.io thread about it, and he sent similar emails to Futures.io, and they posted the pictures of the emails that he sent Futures.io. Uzi says a little, yeah. Here's the thing. Let me show you another one. I posted this one on the forum, but where was that one? I posted this one on Futures.io. Here's one of the people that has also been harassed by Vinny E-Mini a lot. Has said that he had somebody come to his door one day. He didn't answer the door, and then Vinny in his Discord basically admitted that he sent somebody to his house. Yeah. You're getting degraded on Reddit? Really? Did you trigger the CCP? Oh my gosh, you want to see some funny drama on Reddit? Oh man. So on Reddit, there's a subreddit called Late Stage Capitalism, and there was a post that was pro China, and so people in the comments started bringing up things like the Uyghur genocide and all of these sorts of things, and like there was like a huge fight broke out, and moderators deleted all anti-CCP posts in the thread. So they went and had to go and make a new subreddit. And some of these ones were like, yeah, they made Late Stage Capitalism V2. So I'm like, so does that mean that we are now in late stage capitalism? Our late stage r/late stage capitalism? It was pretty. Lots of other users were banned as a result of that post as well, apparently. Yeah. Let me tell you, I mean, I don't know how you would verify it. The thing that I find really frustrating in social media right now is that there is definitely social media manipulation. So Vinny has, without question, I mean, I can prove that he has tried to use social media manipulation in the past by creating fake accounts on Reddit and so forth. There was an instance where he forgot to switch accounts, and then he tried to delete his post, but the deleted Reddit caught it before he deleted it. Yeah. So like that sort of thing happens, but it seems to me that the Chinese are doing it, but like on a large scale, and it's hard to know how far it goes. His last video. What do you mean? Like if you go there, you don't see any videos? No, I can see it right here. Oops. Sorry, I'm only sending this stuff to Uzi. The rest of you guys are like, I'm in the dark. I want to see. I haven't watched that one, so I have to go and speed watch through an hour and 20 minutes to see what specific accusations he makes against me, and then I may have cause to sue him over. Uzi is the favorite. I mean, he kind of is. Not gonna lie, he's been around for such a long time. I mean, the thing with Uzi, man, is that he came in and was talking to me when he was like literally the only person here in chat. So I really appreciate it, man. Yeah, I think that he wants to go up against. I think that it's more about Jigsaw right now. That's the thing that's kind of frustrating to me is that he's kind of by proxy attacking me, but yeah, the thing that's, well, I don't know. He Jigsaw has a much better case against him than I do, really. Like I can basically send him a cease and desist and, like restraining order, basically saying that you can't talk about me anymore, something like that. But like Jigsaw, he's like outright defaming them, and frankly Future's Eye out too. I'll be a little flaky till November 5th when my account gets my. Oh yeah. You know what though? When that happened, like I didn't even notice. I had a position on that Friday. I closed it. I came back on Monday, and it was over at NinjaTrader. Isn't it best to just? Well, I've been ignoring him for 5 years, man. Here's the thing. This guy is a real. Like he is really, when I say he is a psychopath, I mean I truly believe that he could be clinically diagnosed with psychopathy or sociopathy or narcissistic personality disorder, like one of those three. Okay, without question, no question in my mind that he has that. All right. So he is literally going with the, he's not trying to do things by the book or anything like that. He's doing anything that he can to attack you, any dirty trick he can. And he very much relies on people just not doing anything in response, going, well, he's just crazy and I'm just going to ignore him. So that's what I did for a long time. And he's just getting worse. So really trying to ignore it just kind of invites more harassment. Kind of using it as an excuse to get some projects done. You really enjoy doing that housework, don't you, Izzy? You should just be a flipper. Yeah, then normal rosing ahead. That's the thing though, is because it's like sorry. Is it? Yes. One of the things that psychopaths do is that they're not very good at planning ahead on the future, right? They only just do what it is. They're like, I can do this right now and it will help me right now in this moment. And so they do, that's kind of what happens. Yeah. Well, up until this point, it was kind of like, well, you don't want to attract attention to it, right? Like before, it kind of went away, right? It kind of went away, but those other videos, I think they got a few thousand views, but I think that they were mostly people from my stream watching, wanting to know what was going on. This other one, well, this one from yesterday didn't get very many views. Let's see here. This other one, though, got over 10K views. Yeah. I mean, I am concerned that somebody will get hurt. Like I am concerned for people's safety. That's how far this has gone. Like seriously, YouTube. I know that YouTube's not listening, but if YouTube was listening, I have reported these videos. I've reported them multiple times. This guy will hurt somebody. You need to take this channel down. You need to take his channel down. It's just absolutely crazy. This is like Dateline NBC shit. When this is all said and done, Netflix is going to make a documentary about it. And you know what, Netflix? You're going to have to pay me. You're going to have to pay me to interview me. This is ridiculous. This is getting ridiculous. Dirty money is a good Netflix. There is a number of good. So there's, I don't know if this is like a genre now, but like scam documentaries, right? So there was the one about the Fire Festival. That one's really, really good. And then there's the one about Brickin yoga. That one's pretty crazy. Although that one was kind of more like he was a sexual predator is what that one kind of turned out to be. I mean, I guess you could say that his whole yoga was a scam too, but I mean, people knew what it was and they were just willing to pay for it. So whatever. Yeah. Then he escaped the USA. Yeah. That's exactly what. Yeah. There's another one more recent about what is the name of this company? They made leggings. They make leggings, and they became notorious for really, really poor quality leggings. So there's a. I didn't watch that one. My wife watched that one and told me about it. She was like, I don't understand what's going on. And I'm like, well, because they took all of these obligations, they don't have the ability to pay for them. I think she learned a lot about business from watching that. Yeah, he escaped the US. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, if I was a millionaire, I wouldn't be buying. I wouldn't do anything different. I might have to. I've been saying that I would like to live in this house till I die. I may have to move. I may decide that we need more room. Both for this and for the kids. How is Shib mooning and Dodge isn't? Well, I can explain that for you very easily. You see, orders can have a very dramatic impact on the price. So if somebody comes in and just buys a ton of it, then a bunch of retail traders will try and follow. Now, if you were to turn around and sell it immediately, then you're going to have even more impact on the way down than you did on the way up, and you're actually going to lose money from doing that. But if you're doing like pump and dump for the long haul, then you can buy in just to make sure that SHIB is on everybody's radar, right? Like think about Garlic Coin, okay? Garlic Coin has a fixed supply. It's already mostly mined out, and the supply is only 69 million. Compared to like quadrillions for this SHIB stuff, right? So why isn't Garlic Coin taking off and SHIB is? Well, because SHIB was created this past year. So if you are like really trying to do like a pump and dump exit scam sort of a thing, it makes way more sense to use something that's new, right? To start something new. So that's what it is. And I think that I would expect to see SHIB continue doing that sort of a thing until the crypto bull market crashes here. Maybe those guys are smart enough that they get out, get out before it happens. Because if they don't get out before it happens, then the inflation will just swamp them, and then they'll lose everything that they put into it, right? But that's what's going on over there. Be careful about following people, man. I'm telling you. Especially in cryptocurrencies. They like politicians who only do laws that benefit themselves. Yeah, one of the problems that I'm starting to see a lot in society, like people in general are pretty good, pretty and smart. Like people in general are actually quite smart. People in large groups can be really dumb, but the reason that happens is because if you have 1,000 people, there's going to be a psychopath in that 1,000 people. And that psychopath is going to be the one that's like the most motivated to climb the ladder. And then what does he do? He puts a bunch of laws and does things that benefit him. Right? And that's where our problem comes in. Maybe even 1 in 10 now. Well, I think that there's a lot of people out there running around like, oh, I can be a psychopath too, and but they're not. You know what I mean? That's so have you guys watched for sure as we progress? Man, see maybe I shouldn't trade today because my mind is just going blank all over the place. Have you guys watched Squid Game yet? About 2% of the world's population are psychopaths. I haven't watched it yet. So there are some pretty serious social critiques about current society in that. I think most people would describe it as anti-capitalism. I don't know if the author of it is anti-capitalist still or not, or what the deal is, but I don't think that you have to go that far. I think you can just generally say that it is a critique of current society. Well, if none of you guys have watched it, let me tell you. I'll give you the what is the word? I'll try and sell you on this show. This show was written by a guy over the course of 10 years. At many points during that time period that he wrote it, he was like starving. Like he lost 3 teeth during a period because he was so malnourished. So he had it rough as a writer. And then Netflix came along and picked up his script. Okay. So the whole show, this whole like 10-hour mini series, was written by one person. And so because of that, you get this thing that is incredibly consistent, and like every little thing that happens has foreshadowing and intention behind it and messages behind it, and it's just I've never seen anything like it. And it is really truly like a serious social critique. I think that everybody gets on Netflix and they see the little trailer for it and they're like, oh, this is just like a macabre, Asian show that will just be kind of fun and whatever, right? No. It's like a serious social critique. It's like a once in a generation social critique on the same level of significance as like The Matrix. It's probably the last movie or piece of media that I saw that kind of had that kind of like that led to like real cultural, like people talk about the red pill versus the blue. That's all The Matrix, like Squid Game is going to have the same level of cultural significance. So I would watch it. Doesn't necessarily mean that I agree with everything that's in it, but one of the undertones in it is that they're playing this game, but there's like a lot of chance to the game, and it's really not fair. Which is kind of this critique of capitalism, that it's like, it doesn't really, no matter what you do, you're probably going to fail, and only like one person is going to win anyways. But there is one character in particular that really starts to behave like a psychopath. And he's very quiet about it at first, but by the end of the show, man, you really hate that guy. But like the thing is that I'm not sure if he's necessarily like a psychopath by nature. I think that he's the kind of person that's like, I'm going to play the game and I'm going to become a psychopath because I want to win. And yeah, I think there's a lot of people out there like that these days, that they want to try and be the psychopath, but they really aren't. In the end, they really aren't. Yeah. But I tell you what, when you run into a real psychopath, it's something else, right? Because it's like Captain Price said earlier, it's like they're impulsive. It's like they can't help it. It is really weird. Like I just this email that they sent to Futures.io. Like, when people are readying lawsuits, do you really think that it's a wise thing to say something like that in an email to them? That's not going to look very good when you go to court. You made $50 shorting crude oil. Good job. Well, the Treasury is still depressed. They came back a little bit, but it looks to me just like that maybe they have found a value area here around 131. Like, I didn't see anything in the order flow that really told me that we were going to do that sort of thing around 131. It was just like they decided that they liked that price. So I'm not sure. And I haven't seen any really big orders. I mean, there's 3K buying it at 31.5, but because it's an auction day, we should expect to see some trades, like some icebergs and so forth for the auction. Okay, so maybe there is more at 31.5. They took it out though. Yeah, it's probably better for me to stay out in that situation. Yeah, think about a kid that plays a computer game. He wants the highest score. He will use all tactics at his disposal. But when the game becomes reality, that's danger. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that are unrealistic about that, right? Like the whole thing where like they in Squid Game, you can vote to end the game. So after the first game, they're like, "Oh, it kills you. Oh, that's what I signed up for. Okay." So they all vote to end the game, but then a bunch of people vote to come back. Yeah, no, it would not happen like that. Every single individual would vote to end the game, and even if they were like destitute and their lives really, really sucked, the human survival instinct is stronger, and they would all vote to end the game. None of them would put their life at risk for a game. No way. So that's that part of it's not very realistic, but it's still a really good show. And like I said, the reason that it's such a good show is because it was written by one guy. It really is truly unique. think Black Mirror like episodes of Social System is a future where a girl gets where if a girl gets approval ratings and can't fly or do things if it's too low. Same like China wants social credit system. It is scary. It is scary. But I think that the thing that I find more scary is I mean, the social credit is just one facet of it, is the compulsion by world leaders to try and control the internet and people's discourse. It's basically turned into, there are people out there saying things that we don't want them to say, and it was okay when it was unpopular stuff, but now too many people believe it, and so we have to do something about it, is pretty wacky, you know? Like, you're growing up in the United States, you think, well, we have freedom of speech and that sort of thing will never be a problem. And it's almost hard to conceive of this world where anybody would even try to do that. But then, like, as soon as it's a problem, it is immediately they're trying to do it. It's like crazy, right? Well, the Treasury did bounce and came all the way back up to the open. Curious, Data mining and social sentiment is known. Well, freedom of speech is not an absolute right. We have libel laws. Well, that is true. But what I'm talking about is, like, if certain people out there want to question the veracity of climate change, they should be allowed to. Right. That's and there are people in the government today saying that shouldn't be allowed. That if you're posting information that they deem uncredible on climate change, that you should be silenced and banned from social media. And you would think, like, okay, well, but the politicians will never be able to pass that because the Supreme Court will say it's not allowed. But then you don't have to do that because you can just have Facebook and Google do it for you. Facebook and Twitter. Your woke politics makes you run afoul of a religion, and they're like, really? Because I thought that the woke crowd was very atheist. We have a history of allowing free speech to be curtailed when public safety is at stake. Yeah. Well, but like I said, people's actions. Sorry. See, what is the word? They're motivators, like incentives. Incentives seem to predict people's behavior better than, like, their principles do. I mean, most people have red lines, right? I would never come in here and promote a product that I didn't think was actually worth something to you. Like, why would I do that? In some respect, there's some really strong incentives for me to do that, because if I was to start promoting products that were complete trash, then why would anybody take my recommendations, right? This guy that's been harassing me, he thinks that Jigsaw is trash, but it's a really great piece of trading software. It does what it's supposed to do. It shows you a DOM. You can see all of the orders coming through, and you can analyze that volume, and you can execute on it very efficiently. And there's nothing else in the market that does nearly as good of a job as Jigsaw does. That's the only reason why I use it and why I recommend it. But he thinks it's because you get commissions if somebody uses my affiliate link. Well, I do get a commission. And every time that somebody buys Jigsaw through my link, it's a significant amount of money too. It helps the channel out. That's how we've been able to make our streams so nice, right? But if that was really my game, if that's what I was trying to make money from, like, there are plenty of other things that I could make way more money from doing, right? But most people have like these red lines, right? But the problem is that there's always this way to kind of create this gray area, and then you put the incentive in front of somebody, and then they'll go and they'll do the thing, right? It's like they create this gray area. Is it really free speech if thousands of people are going to die in the future because of climate change? And it could have all been prevented if you had not been allowed to spread your misinformation. You get what I mean? This is how they create a gray area. Then they say it's not really free speech. It's libel and it's harmful to the public and yada, 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 right? That's why the right to free speech is so absolute, and why libel laws are so weak. Everyone will die in the future. Now, on the other side of it, I do feel that like some of those laws should be strengthened. Yeah. If CNN gets on TV and says something about a politician that is objectively false, they should have to pay for it. Like, there should be real consequences for false reporting. And I don't know how you like qualify, like what's defined as false reporting and everything. But like right now you have to prove like malice and all of these other things. And so you can't go after, you can't go after a CNN for that sort of a thing, although they're kind of trying, right? But then, so you got all that sort of thing. But then when you have a situation like what I'm going through, where I'm just being relentlessly harassed by this guy for years and years and years, and there's very little you can do. Like, YouTube should be taking those videos down. I don't know why they don't. They're very clearly in violation of their terms of service. Yeah, the Catholic kid who see him and defamed is now driving a fur-lined Porsche. That's a good point. He won on that one. Although didn't they settle? The best thing you can do is take the whole YouTube down. Well, I think that there needs to be a case where YouTube should have taken something down by their own terms of service, and they didn't, and they get sued for it and they lose a ton of money to get them to take it. Because you realize how this stuff works, right? Like, if you go and you submit something, the first thing is there's like an algorithm. So there's algorithms out there to try and detect videos that are like, new account posting copyrighted material, yada, yada, yada. So they go to the robots. So if it's an account that's like more established and everything else like that, then it might have to go to a person. So then a person who basically does nothing but look at these rules all day has to decide whether that video violates the terms of service or something like that, right? Okay. Now imagine that you're this person, okay? And apparently they outsource a lot of it. Like, a lot of it is in India, okay? So imagine you're this Indian, and here's this video that's literally like 3 hours long of this guy defaming somebody else, right? What do you do? Are you going to go and do all of the work and the research necessary to understand the full situation and then determine, oh, okay, this guy is perpetuating an elaborate bullying campaign, and this is in violation of the terms of service, and I should delete this channel? They don't do that. They're not going to put that much work into it. They're not going to do that unless, somebody holds their feet to the fire by suing them or whatever. Yeah, Captain Price says go through the first 3 minutes of the video and say it's valid again. Luckily though, the individual that's harassing us is just outright insane. And so even though I don't want to have to spend money on this, I think that we should have a pretty good case. And hopefully the other individuals that are being harassed decide to take action as well. So how high did they get there? They got to 03? Really? Well, do you want to take a trade in the 10-year now, huh? I don't think I do. We could do one in the E-mini. Yeah, we could do one in the E-mini. Hold on, actually, I wanted to add an indicator over here, by the way. So I have the R squared there, but I think we should add a super smoother. Super smoother, 120 period, because it's on my seconds chart. Now, one thing I will say, you know, this whole thing where Facebook has like a third party social media court that can look at specific cases. And in a couple of the cases, they said that what Facebook did was the wrong thing. I think that's great. I think that's a great idea. Split personalities? Okay. Take the pointing. Oh, you're going yes. Well, when there's a good person to reason with, and then some other personality tomorrow that you can't even know. I mean, it's just a psychopath. He's just, if he can try and get, so like, how do you resolve? Here, this guy, he's saying, "Oh, I'm such a victim. Futures IO has been unfair to me." No, they were 100% fair, because one, he abused other members on the forum, and he self-promoted in the post, and that's why he got banned. And he was already on hot ice anyways. Yeah, what happened to him was completely fair. But I digress. He comes, "Oh, it's so unfair. They're all just out to get me." And then in the other hand, he's telling these guys, well, either this is going to continue until either you or I are dead. Okay. This doesn't seem like the same person, does it? But the reason is because he's a psychopath, and he's just acting to try and get people to feel sympathy for him. I had Facebook apologize and admit that they banned my stuff for no good reason, but then still keep me banned anyways, just because they want to censor my legitimate personal politics. You know what? So I've found that a lot of that has very much to do with like who's on your page. So like, if you're a communist, I'm not saying you're a communist, but you're pretty far left, right? If you're a communist, I tell you what, you've got a bunch of people on your Facebook that are watching and are concerned by what you've been saying and are waiting for opportunities for you to post something that they can report. 100% they are. Because, you know, if there was a communist in my town, I would have them on a list. I would be waiting for the communist revolution and taking them out before they took me out, you know, because that's what communists do. On my page, I haven't really had so much of a problem with that because we have like we have had real substantive arguments on my page. So anybody that didn't feel like that they can make a substantive argument is like too afraid and basically left the page. But I don't really post on Facebook anymore. You used it for I said, well, Facebook is going downhill, but we can still push some stuff for the elections. We did that, and now I feel like Facebook has outlived its usefulness. We still have the groups. We have 2 Facebook groups that we created here for the channel. I don't ever post in them. But maybe at some point in the future they do become useful. That's why we have them. But if I just never used Facebook again, I would probably be okay. I mean, it's sad to see what it turned into, because I think in the beginning Facebook was really great. But people who literally stalk me, well, that's a little weird. I tell you, well, with this one, with the harassment that I've been receiving, I've had to ask many times, like, why me? But what I've learned is that it's basically like whoever is the top dog he's going after them. So basically he thinks, remember this is like, if there's been anything that has changed my life and helped me, it's this. And I think it's particularly useful to people that are maybe not neurotypical. Okay. Maybe you're a little autistic, or maybe you're ADHD like myself. Like, this is the thing that really helps. Okay. Person with the most value is a person that makes everybody else around them better. Okay. That's what gives you value, is you increase the value of the people around you. This kind of person that goes around and just tries to create drama and drag everybody else down will never be a high value person, because everybody's basically has to be afraid to even associate with you, because they're not, you're going to turn around and try and take somebody down at a moment's notice. Right? But I think the only reason why I became the primary target of his ire was because I had a successful YouTube channel. They want to treat people's... Well, I think that ideas kind of are a protected class. I mean, you can't protect it from criticism, but you can't prevent people from sharing it. Oh, I gave the wrong video. I thought I was giving this to I thought I was giving that to Uzi, and I gave it to somebody else. I thought I had sent the video to Uzi, but I didn't. I accidentally sent it to somebody else. That's okay. So if you didn't find that video, Uzi, I messaged it to you. He was probably confused before, like, what's that talking about? Now, here's something interesting. We had that like really big spike up, but we never really actually had a change in the cumulative delta. The Treasury has just been selling all the way. They're insulating it from criticism and deeming it protecting, but the more truly it is insulation. So here's another thing, is that, it is useful to have forums where a particular viewpoint is upheld, right? Like, I would love to go and debate on late stage capitalism. I posted there like one time and they banned me pretty quickly, right? So if that means that it's an ideological forum and that they don't want people that don't hold the ideology to be participating, then that's their choice. right? And it's been a real problem with conservatives. You'll set up a conservative forum and you will get all of these people trying to infiltrate it to undermine it, right? So these, subreddits is usually a subreddit, right? These subreddits set up pretty crazy rules to protect themselves against that. And you know what? I think that that's a good thing. Like the things like only verified posters can comment, that sort of a thing is, yeah, I'm fine with that. But then there's this thing where it's like you're in a public forum where everybody's supposed to be able to have a say. And there's a group of people that think that because they disagree with your opinion, that you should be silenced. And they do everything to downvote it and hide it from everyone. And yeah, that's not okay. Even the ES seems been pretty slow. Can you believe that they came all the way back down to, like, they almost came to the height. They went 0.3 and now just as quickly right back down. Oil trapped a lot of bears. Oh, wow. You're right. Oil moved a whole almost $1.50. Holy crap. And that's all just been in the last 720. You know what? I must not have my financial juice turned on. Because that's got to be news right there, man. Oil bulls ain't messing around. That dip was bought hard, says Forex Live. Huh. Here, treasuries pushing down. So maybe that's why the treasuries did that. Yeah. I think it is. Right here. Move back down, yeah. Okay, so I think that what happened there was that the treasuries backed off and then turned back on hard because of oil. So what we're starting to see, there's been periods I remember people saying that oil affects the treasury and everything and the dollar index really strongly. But, I wasn't really seeing it in my time. But now that inflation is a bigger concern, the energy inflation is becoming a big deal. And so we are starting to move based off of what oil is doing. I may need to adjust my screen here so that we can see oil, huh? There is a little bit of room over here, right? Like, I'm not using all of that. Well, here is the open in ES. ES first move is down, though. And the treasury is kind of under pressure, too. Like, I disagree with conservatives, but I get in more arguments with leftists than anything. Yeah. The saying became we're all oil traders now. See, I've never seen that before. I think it must have been that before, I guess it really would have been before 2008. There was when oil was doing crazy stuff, and then the treasuries were. I have noticed. Oh boy, look at that. Black sell at 30, huh? How big was it? 4K, 47. Wow. But yeah, I mean, when rates are rising because of inflation, well, energy is a strong driver of inflation. It's one that in the period of low inflation we've kind of ignored, but I think in the next period of inflation it could be a bigger deal. Unless it's all transitory, then it's just going to go away. But okay, so they sold through it and then went 2 ticks further, huh? The problem with liberals, this is a thing that I find really, really weird, is that liberals would be more prone to be trying to make an argument based on the science, right? And yet the kind of person, or at least based off of their ideas, you would think, right? Like that's their argument. Like climate change is in line with the science, for instance, would be the best example. But the kind of person that tends to be liberal are not, the majority of them are not really like engineers, right? Like a lot of them are very feeling type people. So when you get into arguments with them online, and if you're a logical person, it's incredibly frustrating to argue with them. I think I have my head down and I need to move my microphone here so that I can look straight up. Okay, so there was the big iceberg order. They kind of fell through it and bounced back hard. ES still chopping here. Okay, well, there they bounced off of that there. Oh, I should say here in the Discord. We did see, by the way, gold move a bit there too. But I didn't really see any, I kind of look back. I do see IMF's chief economists, dangers of glowing inflation expectations become more significant. Central banks should be ready to respond fast. So there's all that. Otherwise, I'm not quite sure why that move happened. So that one doesn't necessarily make sense. Well, the cues there aren't particularly favorable to me, are they? That's a little better. ES looking, oh man, ES has open has been so choppy, hasn't it? We do have Fed speakers later today. For the treasuries, I don't know, man. So them reacting to oil like that is very interesting to me. Well, it's going to be really hard for me to get filled at 30 because the 5 and the 30 kind of didn't go. I mean, I did get some orders come into me, so. Probably it should be set like that. Yeah. I should have just scratched it there when I was saying these other two aren't going to come down. Okay, well, let's try. Okay. Oh, it didn't give me my targets. In fact, I misclicked a little bit there, so I'm going to have to. Okay. Oh, wait, what? That took me. What? Oh, I know what's going on. Okay. Okay, I got you. I had it set to 2s. I was doing 2s instead of 1s. Hmm. Kind of see some offers pulling. Hold on. Oh yeah, all that. Okay. I think we should be going for a short ace. Look at that. Oh man. Oh wow, you for fast, huh? Now why is my MES not giving me my scale out strategy? Something wrong with it. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Yeah. It's weird. All of my indicators are saying I should have gone into forestry. Apparently, TikTok thinks that I should have gone into forestry. TikTok thinks that I should be a forest firefighter. It sends me a lot of stuff about that. Okay, that was some pretty ugly excursion there, isn't it? Like that is an angry index in it. Okay. So I'm gonna almost. Okay. Out. So I made 65, lost a little bit, made another 60. So that puts me in ES at what? Oh, well, then you include the little loss. Let's include the little loss that I made in the treasury, and that puts me at $60 today. Yeah, that was pretty good. I'm really impressed that you flipped around and went short that fast. Because that got crazy there, didn't it? Now, for me, I'm just frustrated that my auto targets aren't popping up here. I think I did something wrong. So is it because... Is it switching it to me because I use that scale out? It does. Oh, very interesting. Three. So just for the sake of experimentation here, it doesn't do it. That's so weird. Let's just do 1, 1, 1 like that. Or if I go to here, do 1, and then I go to the scale out, does it give me 3? Okay. Well, the risk off came into the treasuries there, didn't they? It's been it's a choppy day there in treasuries. That you don't get that sort of movement very often. You almost quit for the day, really. Come on, come on, come on. Okay. Ah, now it works. No, too much excursion. There we go. Good. Runner didn't run. No, I took a pretty high risk reversal there, didn't I? Did I get it at the price that I should have? 44? Yeah, I did. I'm wondering if I should come over here into the micros and just go along there, but yeah. Well, that sort of a thing is where I find, at least in the treasuries, that the order flow can really, really help me see where to get out. But the E-mini can just be so freaking random sometimes, right? So this one right here, I'm just going to take it because that's what the target was, and I just want to see it all play out. But there could maybe be a little bit left. That one was a great trade. That one went about as well as a trade could go. Well, now that the treasury, well, or rather, now that the E-mini is cooling off again, will the treasury yields rise again? Could we get from 10 to 20? I'm still a little bit nervous about taking live orders, so I think that I will just be the sim warrior today and pat myself on the back for taking 3 excellent trades. Mm-hmm. Oh, you got 49.50? Have you? Oh, that's right. Every time I think about this sort of thing, I'm like, get on Discord and I'll send this thing to you. But then you don't come in. So that was, you got in where you were supposed to, like, how close was the price that you got to the price that you wanted? Because I know it was awfully fast. Was that the price that you wanted? Because I got 43.75, and I maybe I could have been justified getting 44.50. You say exactly, meaning you got exactly what you wanted? Well, I'm just saying you might not be able to click fast enough, is what I was saying. So here, let me show you. Because on that one, I wasn't using the chart, but it did get in where the super smoother said. Okay, so Octavius is telling us that big 5K at 09.75 has a 2,500 lot order in it. Do you use a chart trader? You see, on that one, if I had been using like my regular targets, I don't know if that would have worked. No, I think it would have. Would you sell that? It certainly is more encouraging. Like, you get a fill and you get a fill, and like each fill that you get, the more likely it is that you're going to get the next one. Okay, you got out. So you're trailing. I'm thinking about turning J on here, but I'm not 100% sure. So one of the problems I'm having here, even though we took the reversal, is that sell volume was pretty aggressive, right? And doesn't seem to have a clear reason for it. I can think of a lot of reasons to be bearish right now, but I can't think of a reason why all of a sudden, right at that moment, we would go short, But we do have jolts. That's a good point. Thank you, Greg. So let's pull that up. We're looking for an estimate of 10.925 million jobs openings. What the heck? I just saw this tweet where Celsius is putting out a public advertisement. We are looking to borrow up to 8.5 million USDC for 30 days at a rate of 9.33% and will seek to increase this amount as we establish credit history with TrueFi and the community. Are you kidding me? That is insane. You gonna loan somebody $8.5 million off of a post on Facebook? Like, what? They'll give you 10%. Jeez. Whoa. Crazy things in the cryptocurrency community. Didn't turn on that. Probably, I didn't turn the lights on today. Should have done that. And Treasury's back up to their highs again. This one seems to be kind of on its own, actually. I mean, they're all of the commodities are pretty crazy right now. All of the commodities are pretty crazy right now. So, I'm thinking right now, given the situation, I think I want to wait until jolts, but it might make sense to take a short in the rates here, because if the S&P 500 goes for another leg and this thing really turns the risk off, with all of the hedges and everything else that they have on for the auction, it could turn really nasty, right? Okay, so it's slightly under expectation, only slightly. 10 spot 439 versus 10 spot 939 was the expectation. So I don't know if the price it should be getting would be a very good one. I was saying maybe from 61 to 62. That's obviously not happening. Yeah, let's see, there it goes, new high. 1.6. Mm-hmm. News Squawk tweets August quit rate rises from 2.9% to 2.7%. More and more confident to leave their jobs, says News Squawk. Interesting. Wage inflation, anyone? Banks are red, down 0.5%. Hell, they've taken bigger hits lately, so I don't know. That's kind of curious, though. Are they getting hit particularly hard? Well, then Treasury's up, ticked again. I think the train's leaving without us, folks. I do wish I had taken a short, huh? Well, I don't know. Like at 1.6, would that have really been the greatest trade? I don't think so. 1.605 is maybe the best that we could have done. That one I regret not taking. I was kind of eyeing it here in the 10-year to see if it was going to give me an easy mispricing there, but they didn't do it. Ouch. Look at them stack there at 0.5. Like they're going to squeeze them. I think when this kind of thing oh man. Okay. Well, I don't know. I was going to say that these sorts of moves can be frustrating to trade in the situation that I'm in, because it's like you can't get a spot, and then when you do get in, that's exactly where it turns. You know what I mean? So I feel like, given my situation today, if I'm really going to take on risk, I really need to get a good spot. And I think that I just missed that train. Yeah. I mean, we got some good stuff in the E-mini, so that's okay. I should have been realizing that the treasuries had the chance of going risk off up like that a lot earlier than I did. But now I think I really need a good entry if I'm going to do something. Now they might give me a mispricing around here. I don't know. Sometimes when they do those moves, when they do those level breaks, sometimes the treasuries will come back disjointed and you can get a tick. So like you see how the 30 and the 5 are down a tick, 2 ticks, and the treasury is only down 1. There you go. Okay, so they did down tick. Looks like he's willing to do stuff at 0.5 half. Looks like I wasn't fast enough on that one. Shiba coin is trending on Twitter, really? Okay. I guess not. I haven't been doing too well with those one tickers in the treasury today, have I? It looked like a good fill for a second, but it changed very quickly on me. There was really nothing I could have done in that one. Hey, good morning. How are you? It just makes me want to take it again. Well, I mean, here's that pullback, right? The E-mini is not doing anything particularly interesting right now. Well, let's reset things to here. I guess I should also note that we're not back to 1.6, right? That one right there, and you see that 1100 in the ZB? That whole setup is a little weird. Whenever I see, I think I should call him Bup. Bup. Whenever I see Bup, I'm like, I'm not sure how to say his name, and so I'm like, you know, be like, hey, Bup, you're back again. Welcome. We're so happy to have you. But then I'm like, but what if I say his name wrong? RJ Will is the brains behind the whole operation. I'm just a sidekick. The be a like to be honest, I always feel a little bit guilty about like who on the stream gets attention and who doesn't. I mean, I want to give everybody attention, and honestly, it really is like there's about 20 of you guys or so that are here like literally every day. So some of you I just don't know as well, I suppose, but you know, I don't know how to be fair about it. It's just like Ace obviously sticks out because he lives close to me. Count me as a permanent member moving forward. Well, great. And I appreciate you subscribing. I forget which color. The green means you're on the elite, right? Have you downloaded? Have you put in for the indicators? I don't know how to do this. I need to put it on my website a little bit more clear, but basically I have to go in and enable the license for you. You have to give me your it's not automated, unfortunately. I wish it was. I get that. Okay. Yeah, you have to go and find your machine ID and send it in. And then that will, you know, the indicators will work for 2 weeks, but then after that you have to be subscribed to the YouTube. And basically first day of the month, although sometimes I do forget, first day of the month I go through and I move everybody that's still subscribed to the next month. Well, that situation that I had there in the ZB doesn't exist anymore, so I think they hit a few contracts into me, didn't they? Yeah. I posted in the Discord. So the other thing is there's a Discord room, which I do post some things in from time to time. And in that Discord room for the elite subscribers, I put a new version of the indicators out that has the gap alert, that has the gap, the alert, and Alice. Machine ID. Yeah, so what I'm talking about, Ace, is if you must know, because the guys that You've been helping out, probably do the same thing, right? You go to help and about, and then it will list your NinjaTrader unique machine ID. And then I can go in and I can see the machine ID of everybody that's used the indicator, and I can go in and enable it for the full license. That's how it works. They waited for the chemtrails. The treasury came back a little bit, but you see how they do this game they play with you, right? It's like, hey, it's trending up. You really want to buy the highs, don't you? Don't you? And then they'll dump it on you. And then when you're like, I want to get in, but I can't. I don't think. And then it goes up and it goes up and it goes up and it goes up. And the only way I know to really protect yourself from that is to know that it's going to happen ahead of time. They were having a big, long discussion last night. Wow. Okay. And I also wonder if it looks like 05 half has kind of become a whole. The question is just, are they going to give you a pullback? Is it possible for a PDF file to contain something harmful? I don't think so. Apparently, it is possible for them to be harmful. Let me put it this way. I wouldn't download anything unless you know what it is. If you've come across some shady website and they say, download this PDF, then probably you shouldn't. Now, if you have a virus scanner and all that sort of stuff, you're probably okay. Apparently, PDF can contain dynamic elements. You'll download it. So what you should do is download it, scan it with your virus scanner first, and then before you open it. Or if it's a good virus scanner, it will like scan it as you download it. Also, just don't use Adobe Reader. That can help. Do not allow PDF Reader to execute non-PDF files. Disable PDF Reader from startup programs of Windows. Disable JavaScript on your PDF Reader. But if it was emailed to you by somebody that you don't know, then definitely don't open it, right? Oh, you did get the new computer. I forgot about that. No, GS down 1%. That's no good. They were getting hit earlier in the week too. Actually, let's go look. Let us view on TradingView the situation of the banking industry. Okay, so that's GS stock. You can go to daily chats. Turn that off. Oh, okay. See, when we were over here, I was like, no, that's no good. Pre-earnings dump? Maybe. Is it that time again already? I suppose it is. The one I had problems with was Zillow. Zillow is not look so hot, does it? I mean, it's at a support level, but I don't know, man. And then, what was the other one? Sumo? Ugh. Sumo was doing so well and then got destroyed. It was like all the analysts gave up on it. That's okay. Long haul. They report on Wednesday, really? Okay, let's see here. Finance earnings report calendar leave. Yeah, it's sorted by market cap, so. You must be logged in. Do I not have a login for this? Oh boy. Hold on. Okay, there we go. So tomorrow it is JP Morgan and BlackRock. And then Thursday is Morgan Stanley. And then Friday, I don't see GS on there. Did I go past it? See, maybe they're just like much smaller. I guess they are kind of on the smaller side for market cap, huh? No. That's weird. Taiwan Semiconductor, that'll be interesting. Are they just next week or something? Now we're going to have to search GS earnings date. Scheduled October 15th. Friday. Damn, I didn't see it on this. October 15th. Just doesn't show. It's weird. DXY kind of going higher. Yeah, it could be. Something happened during all that. Let's go to Zero Hedge and see if they can give us some explanation. China to ban private investments in media as CCP strengthens grip on narratives. Okay. IMF issues global stagflation alert, cuts global GDP as it warns of rising inflation and dangerous divergence. Futures rebound from overnight slide as oil keeps rising. Well, the only thing that I see that really seems really likely to maybe have caused all of that was the IMF. I have to say, it markets sure seem unusually angry. Unusually angry. Okay, there's a good downtick there. Now we're back to 1.6. Glad I didn't touch it. I'd be underwater right now. ES, even though ES like had a really strong sell and everything on the open, it's been like chopping around here for a while now. Oh, that is choppy. Maybe I should just consider myself lucky with the ES and not touch it. I only got 30 minutes left, so I don't know if a short here really makes sense. I'm going to regret saying that. I'm not going to say it doesn't make sense to take a trade, but for me, I don't think it makes sense to make a trade, is what I'm saying. What kind of, I'm really interested to know now what kind of a PDF Ace is getting here. Some market research. Because I love PDFs. I have the best PDFs, I tell you. All the great research studies that have been made public. I suppose I don't have anything that you wouldn't be able to find for free too, but not. Sometimes people try and send me things that I shouldn't have, and then I have to just ignore them, but it's a work from home scam. Well, then why would you be opening the PDF for that? Come over here. I'll give you the PDF for the Kyle model. That will be for Albert Kyle, 1985. There's a cat. That's a good one. Yeah. Yeah, that one's a hard one to find because it was like 35 years ago, but News Squawk says crude today is like stop and go. It really is. Like it came all the way back. It's been trading at $2 range. Like that's crazy. Kind regards. I've been, I know this is not like really directly relevant to what you're talking about, but I'm trying to learn Korean, right? You remember all that thing. And the kids' schooling has not been going as well as I would hope. Like they're all really smart, but apparently they've been forgetting assignments and so forth. So we have instituted daily study time where mom watches the baby and I am the slave driver on the kids doing the homework. So I had to do my own homework, so I went and I made some cards for learning Korean. You see? Yeah, there you go. There's a Korean, and what does that letter mean? Well, oh, you can't read it. It's like a K at the start of the word. It's a K, like in kite. That's a K. To acknowledge the receipt of the MOU. Oh my gosh, yeah. Run away. Is that it was sent to your email? I really wonder sometime how some people get pulled into some of these things. Like, I just can't, like with this situation with the individual that's been harassing me, like who seriously goes and looks at all that stuff and says, oh yeah, this guy is really smart and I want to buy his product and all of these other people must be scams or something. I just can't imagine how anybody could go through all of that information. Bots, how are you doing, man? What have you been up to? Anyways, those just like, it's mind-boggling to me. And then you see people on the forums come up and they're like, well, I'm seeing some shady things. What about this and that? Like, one of the things happened. One of the things that happened was this one guy was saying, oh, well, I want to look into it because I'm interested in these C2 results. And what Vinny had told this individual about the C2 was not the full story. Oh, you're enjoying the end of summer. Good job. Good deal. Sometimes I wonder, with the Delta variant going around and everything, when I don't hear from you, I'm like, oh no, something happened. Anyways, the thing was that the C2 strategy blew up, and then he blamed it on the API. And there was this big back and forth between him and the CEO or whatever of C2. And he didn't tell the guy that any of this. So one of the people on the Futures IO was like, oh, I can tell you about that. You just PM me. Because the admins over there were like saying like, stop posting. So he's like, okay, I'll just tell you in private. And then people were like, what? Why would you tell them in private? And they were all upset about that. It was just, that whole thing was kind of funny to me. But still, I will see people on the forum like, oh, okay, I just can't imagine the mindset where you're going through all this and going, oh yeah, I want to get involved in that. Okay. U.S. jobs slowdown should not derail taper timeline, says Atlanta Fed chief. Oh, also, bots. Did you test out my my yield curve toy? Because I was pretty excited when I got that to work. It took some work. Fed's Bostic. I would be comfortable tapering asset purchases. The labor market had improved sufficiently for the central bank to reduce or taper its $120 billion monthly asset purchase program. Yeah, okay. Well, that'll bring him down a little bit, won't it? No worries about the Delta variants here. I live in a thinly populated area of Canada. No chance of coming into unvaccinated Republicans. Okay, but you realize that even vaccinated people can carry it now, right? I would be more comfortable. You're vaccinated though, right? I don't know. I'll feel more comfortable if you had just already caught it and beaten it, right? But I'm not saying that you should go out and catch it. Certainly not. You're initially from Winnipeg? He's over in like the Ontario area. I would be comfortable starting Tabor in November, says Fed Spastic, just to reiterate. Moderna did not work for me. Okay, so here's the issue that I have with the vaccine is which one should I take? I mean, I already have a natural immunity, but it sounds like the natural immunity wanes. So after a certain amount of time, I should probably go and get the vaccine, right? So which one is the best? It's definitely not the Johnson & Johnson one, right? I don't know. Ace, I can't conceive of anything north of Logan. I haven't been to Logan in such a long... I used to be up there all the time for work and stuff. They got the ice cream up there. Trout fishing is done in this area except for Lakers out in the big water, mostly pike in the shallows. JR says none of them. Come on, like if the pro-vaccine people, if they think that the vaccine is so important, surely they should be able to tell me which one scientifically is the best one. Scientifically speaking, which vaccine is the best vaccine? So it concerns me if they can't decide that one is better, you know? Even if I know that maybe ultimately it's an irrelevant question, you should still be able to say which one is the most effective, right? Well, yeah, see, I was ahead of you there, Bob. I'd get any vaccine, honestly, sure. She might have permanent nerve damage. She has more blood tests than I can count. It seems to me that working out has been harder since I got coronavirus. But as I go along and when I really get, the swing, sometimes I just have these bad weeks where I have to skip days because of stuff that's going on. But when I get it into like working out 4 times a week for a couple of weeks in a row, and then I'm okay and I get better, and I have been. So, but it does seem to have long-term effects. I don't think that those long-term effects are so dangerous that like people should be as afraid of the virus as some people are, but it is a thing. My wife couldn't taste. I think she seems to think that her taste is still off. The taste is definitely... I need to go read that again. The whole thing about how it affects your taste was really weird and interesting. So, and just looking at all this, we've come back quite a bit now. Like that whole crazy move up that we had in the 10-year has come back. So we're back to where it's like 61, where we started from. So like we could go either way. I don't know. Like with the way that the Treasury has been trading today, I'm not sure if I can really make a call on it. What do you? When you say bots, when you look at this chart here, let me show you. I don't know if you've been trading and watching it today, but like look at the treasury today. So here's the open. Here's the open. It didn't do a whole lot, but it did sell. The open's right here. So on the open, it sold a little bit, and then that came all the way back, and then it came all the way back down and made a new low, and then it went all the way up and broke highs. And this was like a real stop run. I must say. It wasn't the craziest stop run we've seen lately, but it was a pretty decent stop run. I kind of wished that I had been in on that, right? Now it's come back to here. So like based on the way that it's been acting today, like it could go and do this and then come all the way back, or it could come up and it could do this. And I don't actually know which one it's going to do. Do you have evidence for that? Or you just, well, so I think the problem is that all of them, or at least two of them, that it's been more specifically identified, and they suspect it for the third one. I think that like the Johnson & Johnson and the Moderna ones, they've had this problem and they suspect it with the Pfizer. Is that what the deal is? Of particularly younger men having a heart problem with it, right? Now, the incident rate of this problem is actually ridiculously low. But it is high enough that in Europe, countries have been doing stuff. And in fact, one country just outright banned certain vaccines, didn't they? Or they removed the authorization for it. So that's where I say, like, I'm not saying that the vaccines are bad for you. I'm just saying you should be able to quantify which one is the safest and which one is the most effective, right? So Bob says he had the Pfizer. I saw something and there was somebody posted a picture in Discord that was really funny. They're like, how do you trade this? My ultra sophisticated method. Sometimes I feel like I'm too risk off, but I think that today was appropriate. I'll wait to hear from the experts. The problem is that the experts have said stuff about it, right? Oh, was it Finland and Sweden? But yeah, that's what I was talking about. It was Merck's. Yeah, but professionals are like, we're just telling you information that has been released from the professionals. But this is a thing that I find so frustrating is like, here you got something like in Finland and Sweden. Let's go look that up, okay? Sweden bans vaccine. Okay. Okay, on Wednesday, the Swedish Public Health Agency ordered a pause on the country's rollout of the Moderna vaccine, known as Spikevax, for people born in 1991 and later, due to concerns around myocarditis and pericarditis. The agency said the move was precautionary and due to an increased risk of a side effect such as inflammation of the heart muscle or heart sac, it said. The risk of being affected is very small. So that's what the expert said, right? So my question is, if I was to go and get a vaccine today, which one is the safest one and which one is the most effective one, based on currently known information? And if you don't know that, I don't know, man. Like here's the thing. If I was going to go and buy a new CPU for my computer, I would want to know, okay, which CPU is the fastest CPU when I'm doing single-threaded applications? Which CPU is the better CPU when I have multi-threaded applications? And I'm going to know everything about it and make an informed decision about which one is the best one. So when I have a choice of 3 vaccines, why is that not what's been happening? Like, I don't get. We have this argument over whether or not you should take the vaccine or not. Why aren't people arguing about which vaccine is the best vaccine? That doesn't make sense to me. So here's your homework. Go and find out which one is the best and then come convince me which one is the best one. We can get sponsors from all of the vaccines, and they can come in and present their case about why theirs is the best one. And then, we can have a battle of the vaccines. That's what should be happening. I don't. Am I crazy? Why, if I'm crazy, why is that crazy? I don't understand. I guess I just think differently from the way that other people do. I don't know. There's a good case study that shows that when you administer anything to people in large numbers, there will always be a small percentage of people that will have issues. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. The risk of myocarditis might not really be like a serious thing based on what we know so far, right? Israel ports, I thought, disturbing. Okay, so here's the other thing that drives me crazy is that, like, some of the countries that were the most vaccinated areas had some of the largest delta waves. So how do we sort that one out, right? I mean, I guess it's the law of large numbers that even though the vaccine is like X percent effective, the number of people that still get infected from it is still a large amount. But, man, I thought that the vaccine was like the end all of everything, and it wasn't, was it? We were misled somewhere along the line. Somebody's wrong about something. I don't know who was wrong, but somebody was wrong about something on that one. Well, I think at one point I did know, but I've forgotten now. I think I've forgotten now. I'm sure there are folks who died of a heart attack seconds after. Yeah, well, like, and this is the other thing is that apparently, like, well, it's not apparently, like, the record keeping around this sort of a thing is really difficult, right? Like, if you get vaccinated and then you die, like, how do you say that it was because of the vaccine? You know what I mean? Like, you might not 100% understand why a person died in a particular situation, right? And that's going to apply, like, every time it happens, really, right? So, like, so people try and generate statistics on this sort of a thing. I'm like, there's none of those numbers going to be accurate. None of those. So there people say, like, there's more people dying from the vaccine than they let on. It's like, how do you actually know that? Like, because all of this information that you're looking at is probably just noise. No, I contracted pericarditis after a canoe trip when I was in my late 20s. At the time, the doctor said it was very rare. So to have it linked to a vaccine would suggest the drug testing is thorough. Yeah. Oh, so another thing I think is what this is like something that the anti-vaxxer people say that I think is a little crazy is like, well, there's no long-term studies on the impact of the vaccine. No, this is not the way that it works, right? So like mRNA, I feel like some people must not have taken biology. I suppose I learned this stuff in AP biology, so maybe not everybody learned it, but realize that like the way that it works is you get the DNA and they split it open, and then there's this thing over here that puts mRNA on this little side of it and makes this little mRNA piece. And the mRNA is then this little copy of the DNA that like you can't go and take the mRNA and like get anything else from it. It's just this piece that the proteins will read and then discard. So when you get the mRNA in the cell, like, yes, there's basically genetic material for the virus in there and your body is going to produce it. But like once it's used the mRNA, like that's it. That's it. That's done. So this whole thing about like what would be the effects of it after 6 months, you would know, because all of the effects that you're going to have from the vaccine are going to happen within 2 weeks to a month of you getting it. So that's the one that I hear a lot. I admit I was confused at first too, but that was because I didn't really understand how the mRNA vaccines worked. But then the one on the other side is that the pro-vaccine guys are basically suppressing information about natural immunity, which they just want to increase the number of people that get. That's really what it comes down to. But so they're all wrong about something. I hope today's market conditions are not a sign of what's ahead, and I'm a little concerned too, live action. I'm not a little bit, I'm a lot bit concerned because over time, this stagflation narrative seems to be getting stronger and stronger, doesn't it? And even though when you look at a chart of the S&P 500, actually, let's do that. Not this chart. That's the bond. This one. Let's do it on a daily ES. Okay. So over here, it looks like, oh, everything's been great until about September. But what you don't see is that like all of this was like mostly Apple. So if you're like, it's particularly if you're in more of a small cap portfolio, actually, let's do this. RTY. Okay, so if we do the Russell, come on. Okay, there you go. So if you do the Russell, now all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's just been going sideways all year, right? So yeah, this stagflation thing, I don't think it's a bad thing because that really hurts those big companies. Is it time to short? I don't know. I think that from our perspective, AV, by the way, welcome to the stream. That's a new name I don't recognize. Our advantage should be, of course, most futures traders aren't successful, but if you're a successful futures trader, then I think kind of part of the whole point of developing this skill is so that when the S&P 500 is going down, you can short it. So you don't have to be like trying to take some big, one of the problems that I see a lot of people do is they come in, they want to hit these really big trades, this big call, everybody thinks X is going to happen and actually the world is about to fall apart, and you don't have to do that. Okay. In the treasuries, that stuff will happen and you don't want to miss it when it happens. But you don't have to make that call. You can just come in from day to day and look at the daily conditions and see what's going on. Today, we came in and we saw the conditions and we saw that they were struggling on the long side and that we were starting to get some selling volume in. And so the first sign that we saw of aggressive selling, we wrote it. And that's how both myself and Ace were able to pull something out of it today. Well, of course, mine was sim order. I don't want to give anybody false impressions of what I'm trading or anything like that. But so yeah, you just take it one day at a time. The market will give and take, and live action says I'm not fond of the take part. Yeah. One of the things that happens to me a lot that I'm still dealing with is that there will be times where I've really got a good one and I'm just trying to drive it for all it's worth, and then something happens and it comes all the way back. You know? It seems like every time that I really, really catch one, that it somehow slips away anyways. I've still had some good wins this year, but it's not. I feel like that I should have made, with a couple of mistakes, I can easily come up with like $300 or $400 that I could add to. Yeah. In addition to your stagflation comment, another thing to consider for the market going forward is that the last of the boomers are now reaching retirement age. Oh, that's a good point, bots. We would need to model the dynamics of the market on that, wouldn't we? So that's going to be stocks coming out. Yeah, from the analysis that you did, it seems the tech stocks are inflated and the ones getting hit now. Yeah, it is. I totally is. I really, when I look at Apple in particular, I do not think that the trajectory of the company and the effectiveness of the company really justifies the valuation that people are giving it right now. I think that it's up because it's the popular one and it's been popular for so long, and that attracts attention and that attracts orders, and orders move price, and so it moves up. But yeah, very much if there was like a recession or something like that, or this stagflation thing really does happen, that Apple's going to get hit. And when the problem with a stock like that, and probably Tesla is probably an even better example, is that when the main reason for being in the stock is because the stock is going up, then what happens when it's no longer going up, right? Or even better, Bitcoin, okay? Like for Bitcoin, the main reason to be in Bitcoin is because it's going up. What are they going to do when it's not going up anymore? Because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And in Bitcoin, it's probably going to be ugly, ugly, ugly. I wish I could say that I know it's going to happen this year. That would be great, but it's going to happen in Bitcoin eventually. And that's why I cover so many instruments, preferring the easy one. Yeah. Well, if you have a big bankroll, I think that switching between instruments makes sense, especially if you've been doing this for years and you've probably had some experience with every single one of them, and you have some models with every single one of them, and you can pull some edge out of all of them. If we're really going to be into this stagflation environment, then man, oil is probably going to be the place to be, right? I always tell, because Bots, he used to work for an oil company, and I'm like, well, why don't you trade oil? I don't know, Bots, if you're still here, maybe you should. They got those micro oils now. Maybe you should start doing some testing on that, because that might become really useful in the future. Because what are we going to do? It's always harder to trade, I got to tell you, unless you get the early trade. Like in the S&P 500, you can go short like right after the open and then just like let it ride, and that happens a lot. Okay, but if it's already going and you try and take a trade, it just thrashes you around. It's not fun. It is way easier to trade something when it's moving up than when it's going down. So what happens if we get in a situation where treasuries are moving down, S&P 500 is moving down, and oil is moving up. The easy trade is going to be oil, right? So the youngest cohort are now 57, not a long timeline for investing. Yeah. See, we need to make... the problem with that one is that there probably could model the effect of the boomers retiring and or dying and passing on their assets to other people, and see how that would affect the markets. But you would really need like a really strong, that's probably beyond our ability. We'd need a really good research study to start with for that sort of a thing. Before you go, if I was to create an NT8 strategy for Combine, any thoughts on ES or NQ? Well, I think that either of them would probably work. The one that you're going to trade, I think should depend greatly on your strategy. And NQ really lends itself well to catching really small trades and taking risk, essentially. Either way, and it also depends on the combine that you're in, but like if you just do the $2,500 target one that everybody else does, either one of those instruments, just trading one contract is really aggressive, right? So if I was going back and I was doing that again and I was doing my own combine, discretionary trading, I would probably just start with the three micros, right? And scale that up. Every $50 add a contract or something. Okay, I do got to get going. Thank you guys very much. It feels good to talk to you guys. Sometimes I feel very, very much alone with the harassment that I'm receiving. So it's great to know that we still have a community here. I've been doing one micro since the summer. And just trading one. You know what, guys? You don't have to become a millionaire from trading. I know that that's what everybody wants to do, but just get to the point where you're having fun and you can keep doing it first. Like, you got to get to that point first. Then you can think about what you got to improve to become a millionaire, right? But most people never even get to that point where they're breaking even and they can keep doing it, right? Or they're paying for their data and everything like that. So what I really should say. Okay, tomorrow, stay profitable.